We are here, Covered in Business Network show. It is, what's today's date? What's today's date?
August 16th.
August 16th, 7 o'clock, and it's like 100 degrees, like, you know. Today we will be discussing childcare and the ins and outs, the ups and downs with Tasha.
Assalamualaikum.
And she is the owner of Count On Me 123. And she's been in business for quite a few years now, and currently just opened her second or third?
Second.
The second location. At the old Dawah Center, right?
Yes.
And we have I don't want to say her name wrong.
What's her name?
No, I don't want to say her name wrong. Shukiya. Patterson. She just started the Patterson Academy. Patterson Preparatory
Child Development Center. Say that.
We're going to do the acronym.
Say that 3 times. Patterson Preparatory Child Development Center.
Yes.
No, we gotta fix that.
Yeah.
We gotta fix that acronym.
Patterson Prep.
PP.
Patterson
No,
Prep.
that don't work.
Patterson Prep.
Patterson Prep.
Forget
Patterson Prep.
Patterson Prep.
Patterson Prep.
Yes. Fix my Shayla. Thanks, Fi.
Listen, you know
My Shayla's always jacked.
Can't laugh.
All right, so I know a lot of people have
People can see us.
been wondering. Yeah, I'm about to put it on y'all when I interview y'all.
Just don't let me know.
All right.
Listen, this is just us. Just enjoy. You know, mashallah. Talk freely. You know, you just talk
Can
about
I
us.
introduce you before you talk?
Me? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes. My co-host, Atiya Havens, who was recently in a car accident the day after her anniversary, her 50th anniversary.
Woohoo! 50th fabulous.
And so she wasn't here last week with us, but alhamdulillah, she's here today. She's been running around with me all day.
I got a little clearance from doctors. Okay, alhamdulillah.
She thinks she could work, but
We're gonna see.
anyway.
We'll see.
All right, y'all. So
What are you doing?
fixing my puffs.
Ooh, something's
Fixing my puffs. I ain't got no eyeliner on, no lip gloss, no nothing, y'all. This is me in the real. Kyla. All right, so
Hold on, I gotta help a sister out. Mashallah.
let's talk to Tasha. So tell us, how long have you been in business?
I've been in business since 2010. I started off with family child care at my home, and then I branched out to one center. And then one center turned into 2 centers. And then it was a hiccup with the second center, so we didn't open up because, you know, everything with business, sometimes you have trials and tribulations. Things don't go as planned. So then when the old Dawah Center opened up, I was like, alhamdulillah.
I got a question. How'd you get that?
I'm about to tell you.
Because you know, people don't share stuff.
Everybody was wondering, like, how did you get the old Dawah Center? Because it wasn't even on the market yet. When I seen, because I'm right up the street, the other daycare is right up the street. So when I seen that the Dawah Center had moved down the street to their new location, I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Like, so I called, so nobody had any information. So my cousin, who's a realtor, I called her, and she looked it up for me, and she got the owner, and then we just went from there. So it really never went on the market.
So let me see if I understand this. So you couldn't get information from the previous tenants as to the status of the business. Interesting. Mashallah. What? It's real. I mean, we talking about business and we talking about expanding businesses and such like that. That I ran into the same thing. Right. Treasures was supposed to be on. I wanted it on Germantown Avenue, and there were certain places that was available that other people had, and you start asking questions, and they're like, I don't know. How you don't know? You just paid them last month.
Right.
But you know, mashallah, everything that's for you is truly for you. Nobody can actually stop it. But you know, mashallah, I was just, because that did happen really quick. Like,
yeah, because it didn't even go on the market. So I was so upset because I was like, why wouldn't they tell me the information? So my husband was like, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So I called my cousin and she was like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, you want it? I was like, yeah. So she is a realtor. She looked up the address. She, started, and then she represented me as far as signing the papers, what we was going to negotiate, as far as what was the landlord going to do. Because when I went in the old Dollar Center,
I can only imagine.
Right. So we had to negotiate things which she was going to be responsible for, what I was going to be responsible for as fixing up, and then we just went through there. So it really never went on the market because I was stalking it.
Yeah, I have a question from both perspectives because both of you are going into spaces that were not actual zoned for childcare facilities and having to do work and such. Like my girl here, mashallah, she is so trooper. Like she is such a trooper. Falling through ceilings and such. Yeah, I remember all that.
I did.
How did you find the zoning for childcare facilities? Did you find it easy to get the zoning for your particular locations, seeing how they weren't already zoned that?
So my building was previously a daycare.
Oh, okay.
So it was zone childcare. However, it had been a daycare about 10 years ago. So that was before a lot of regulations. It was before you needed indoor space. It was before you needed the utility sink. So it was before. It was when you could have a stove without having a commercial hood. So it was already a daycare. And myself, naively, I went into the building and I was like, it was already a daycare. I didn't know it was 10 years ago. So I just thought I was going to go in and paint the walls and
that was it.
Bring some kids in. And subhanAllah, that was not the case at all. Everything in there, when I tell you, from the floor to the ceilings, the walls, the plumbing, the electrical, everything had to be brought up to code. Everything. And you mentioned your lease and how you knew to negotiate things in your lease. So myself, I didn't. So none of that was in my lease. So everything that had to get done,
You had to do
I was responsible for. And I was finding out as I went through the process. So it's like, okay, you have to have the fire department come out. But I see sprinklers, so I'm like, I'm good.
They're not hardwired.
They came out, they were like, well, this is over 10 years, and if you were already a business, then it would be fine. But because you're new, all of this has to get done over.
Ya Allah.
That was over $3,000. But myself, naively, I didn't plan anything like that into my contract. It was just like, I was so happy, I was so excited. I just didn't know any better. So that's why I always tell people, expect the unexpected and then expect more. Because I expected to do some things and for it to cost money. But there was a lot of things that I didn't plan for. But I was in it. And I wasn't turning back. So even when people were telling me, oh, that wasn't fair. You should leave. I was like, this is mine. I'm not leaving. I'm not going nowhere. I will be here day, night. My son's friend came to the daycare yesterday. He likes to bring his friends over and show it to his friend. His friend was like, you do construction work? Yes.
Okay, all right, listen, I got one. Yes. I got one. Listen, wait. I got one disclaimer. Y'all cannot make me laugh. Okay? I do still have 5 broken ribs. Mashallah, I got my little pillow here, but that was hilarious. Mashallah. Woo.
I was sitting there working. He was like, you do construction? Yes, absolutely. I do what it takes to get Patterson open.
Oh my God, I remember those days.
Yes.
Mashallah. My son, and you say sons are the best, mashallah. My youngest son and his friend, because they had put down the floor but it was an extra floor. Don't ask.
I had
like,
5 layers of
yeah,
floor.
and they and alhamdulillah, they both were on the football team at that time, so they came in with the little jackhammer thing, and they was just like boom, pulling the stuff up. I'm like, oh my god! But again, alhamdulillah, I wasn't as bad. When we walked in the first location, it was like, huh, what, how? And Allah was merciful because, again, I did retail. That's the thing that people don't understand. The type of business that you go into makes a big difference. So you're dealing with kids. Mm-hmm. So your codes is night and day to mine. Yeah. And I was fortunate. My landlord was one that he kept everything up to code. Mm-hmm. So, alhamdulillah, he did the sprinkler and, you know, and all of that stuff.
Like, different landlords had different requirements. Like my first one, it was already a daycare, so all I had to do was go in. He asked me what color paint I wanted. He even painted, and he did everything, right? So all I had to do was go.
Yeah, my landlord did everything.
Yeah, do put furniture in. Second one, I negotiated. It was a shell. They was responsible for all the construction. They did all the work. I negotiated that. But what happened was the second floor. The lady left the bathtub on, and then I went down there one day and to check on it, because you don't go in there every day. Like they was doing the work, and it was the floors was buckled up. It was water everywhere. So mold in the wall. So I can't move in here. DPW is not going to approve this place. There's mold in the wall. I had to hire a mold specialist. Went to small claims court. Got my money back because they was trying not to give me the money back.
Of course not.
Because they were saying it was my fault if I came in there every day to check. I would have known beforehand. I don't really business on here every day. Mm-hmm. So then I said, okay, just be patient. You know, something else is going to come up. And that's when the Dawah Center came up. Now, when the Dawah Center came up,
it didn't come up.
You got it.
You got it. It didn't come up. You went and got it.
It had nothing, like it was no back door. Yeah, it was just like, but I negotiated that because I'm not going to do all this work. Like I'll be responsible for doing things that bring me up to code, but certain things that are building requirements from the city, as far as being handicap accessible, having a front and back door, that's not my responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Fluorescent lights that should have been done prior, that's not my responsibility. So we went back and forth for like 2 months. I was not giving in. She wasn't giving in, so okay, I'm gonna find somewhere else.
So you're not a slumlord?
Huh?
You're not a slumlord?
Well, it's a female. So you know, females with females, sometimes you know.
No can bump heads.
Yes, but at the same time, it's always good. Like the first one, I represented myself. The second one, my cousin represented me as a realtor, and it went so much smoothly because I didn't have to deal with all that headache.
So do you recommend people that's looking into child care and opening a child care facility to go through a realtor?
If you can, because they will sit down and they will negotiate at their table with you, and then they'll call you and say, okay, she's agreed to put the back door in. Do you want her to do anything else? Okay, yes, I think she should be responsible for the back, moving the debris and stuff. Then she goes back. Like you don't have to do all that back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I do recommend if you do find a child care facility that you find somewhere that's already zoned, because going through zoning after so many years, it is a headache. But if it's only a few years, then you could piggyback off of that other person's zone. But when it's so many years, you can't. You got to go through zoning all over. But if it's like like the one I'm in now, a daycare was already there before. Okay. And it was there the year before, so I got to piggyback off their zoning. I didn't have to go through the zoning issue. Now the second one I did where I had to come in and say, okay, we're going to change this to zoning for child care. Yeah. But I already knew what to do when I was telling them to do the construction. Like, I'm very hands-on. Like, I'm there, like, we need a ramp.
This is what we need.
We need this, we need that. Because I don't want to go through it 2 and 3 times. Like, I need to open up because, meanwhile, I'm still paying rent. And DPW.
See, that's where you messed up. Yeah, that's part of that negotiation.
But I got 3 months free. But they not. But DPW and fixing up a place, sometimes it may take up
More
to
than
6 months. Like I did get the 90 days for free, but when working with
And
child care,
that was generous.
I didn't.
Because
Well,
most
actually,
of them won't, they will not.
I
It
didn't.
depends.
I
Again,
didn't.
it depends. It depends. For me, when we opened up, we agreed that we would do the work. So when we agreed to do the work, the contract was, mashallah, like it was no rent for maybe 6 months, and then it was literally piggyback. It increased every year. It increased. So when we finally got to regular rent, we were already a year in. Alhamdulillah, because we took a lot out. But I did find, because I put down parquet floors, found out that guess what? There's a leak in the back. That if it rained too much, that the gutters get crowded and then the rain comes in. And this happened while I was overseas. MashaAllah. My daughter, she's sitting in the shop with the kids, the first location. And all this water come rushing in. The brothers from the barbershop had to come over and help her with the kids to get out and such. And needless to say, my, what was it, like $700 from my parquet floors went out the window. Because once wood is wet, that's it. And I learned my lesson. And one of the things I said is that I will make sure that I put things in writing as to what happens, where it happens, who's responsible based off of negligence, because the response was, put it through your insurance. It's not worth putting it through my insurance. So who eats the cost? I do.
You do.
Because yes, I can put it through, but now my insurance is going to go up. I was like, you know what? Never mind. This is going to be the floor until we leave. And alhamdulillah, Allah allowed it that when I moved, we had carpet, and I was like, it's going to stay that way. Unless it's my personal, like I own this building. That's something I learned. And I watch, if you don't own it, be mindful of how much you put into it. Because sometimes we put all this into it because this is where, where we're at.
And you want to be comfortable.
You want to be comfortable, but what we did was we increased their equity. We increased everything for the landlord. And, they have their real ability to say, you know what, we decide not to renew your lease.
And in 2 years,
And then raise the rent for the next,
for the next winter. I do plan on purchasing that building.
Okay,
In 2 years, inshallah. Because it is 4 apartments up at the top, and
That's
it's a
my goal.
daycare. But she's way different than my first landlord, and then like I even had to negotiate the rent date with her because we see CIS all day. Our checks coming on the 20th.
You can't pay rent on the first.
I can't pay rent on the first. My other daycare, we negotiated that with him too. I pay on the 20th for each month. So now I pay her on the 20th for each month. Nobody gets paid to
You get
the 20th.
That's actually something really good to understand, that can you negotiate according your rent due date according to when your stream of income comes in versus the standard 1st or the 15th, when now you got to figure out how you got that money. How are you going to get the money, especially with you starting from scratch. You ain't get there yet.
Well, me, I just, refer to my husband. No, I'm joking.
So you gonna make me laugh.
No, I won't make you laugh. Seriously, I've really been hustling. So I worked at my job, and then, I do the total life changes. I'm beneath the hijab. Y'all can check that out too. Beneath the hijab. So I do total life changes.
I want t-shirts from you.
Yes, I do. So I do things, and then I sew. Sometimes I'm elegantly modest, and I be hustling. I hustle because this is what I know I want to do. I was telling you earlier, I've been wanting a daycare, so this isn't like a pop-up thing for me. I didn't just say, daycare is everywhere.
For years, though.
It's been 10 years or more that I've been wanting a daycare. So it's not something I was like, this is a quick thing, I can make some money. This for me is like something that I've been wanting to do for myself, but also for my community. I feel like a lot of times it's like people will send their kids to a Muslim school solely because they're Muslim. I want to raise the standards of Muslim daycares to where everybody want to go to a Muslim daycare. So you find people will send their kids, they'll mortgage a house to send their kids to Catholic school because they feel like the education there is that good. That's what I want to bring to our community, where people want to come from anywhere and be like, their Muslim schools are good. Their curriculum is awesome. What they do with the children, they're learning so much. That's what I want to do. I'm not trying to hoard kids. I don't want to put as many in the building as I can to get the biggest check that I can. I really, really, really want a good program that's run well, that people can be like proud, like them Muslim schools, them sisters, they doing it. So I don't want to even, not just for myself, I want to see all Muslim daycares raise the standards of the curriculum, the programs, the staffing, all of that, so that people, not just Muslims, want to come to a Muslim daycare, but that anybody wants to, because the program is so good. So for me, it's not even just about, oh, I want to open a daycare. That's the fun thing to do right now. I've been wanting to do this for so long.
So let me ask both
now,
of you a
I
question.
don't have all Muslim children. I, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't have all Muslim children. Like, I do have a mixture, which they...
Diversity. Diversity is good, though.
Like, I have Muslim
that's
children, non-Muslim children, white kids, Hispanic. I'm diverse. That's what I want, because
I love that. I love that.
But they really don't care, because if your curriculum, like you said, is good, if your staff is good, if your program is good, they don't care. Like, they know that we don't celebrate birthdays there. That all we celebrate is Ramadan. They know that we're not getting into Christmas. Like, they know that they don't really care at that point, because they just know
the program is
that
good. They might even recognize,
good.
like, oh, they
So that's what you want, because that produces longevity. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you want at the end of the day. You want longevity, where this is a business. Like, we just not popping, like, oh, okay, we a daycare here, and then pop-up shops. Like, this is what like, this is what I want to pass down to my, you know what I'm saying? This is my brand. This is what I want to pass down to my children. So that's what the mindset is. Like, when I send my own child here, you know what I'm saying? That's what I always do. When I send my own child here, so that's always my thought when hiring staff with the curriculum and, you know, just having a program as a whole. What I want my own to do, you know, what I want my own to do.
Definitely.
So my question to both of you, with that being said, what do you feel you bring to the table that the other Muslim-owned and or run daycares have brought to the table? Why would I send my grandchild to you?
Well, I can't speak for other daycares just because I haven't been involved with them. So my daughter went to a home daycare. She didn't go to a Muslim daycare, and then I was home with my son, so he didn't go to daycare. So I can't speak to like the other daycare specifically, but I can only say what I bring to the table is both a passion for the business and for children, but for educating children and families. So I definitely feel like that's my niche, is that I'm definitely in tune with not just like a program and like you have a day and you might have all these things set for the day, but your kids might be like, I'm not feeling that today. I'm not in the mood for that today. But so for me, that day is going to be more important to make sure that my children are getting what they need from me. Maybe I got a class full of sick kids. It happens. I may have a class full of sick kids and I may have a science project I wanted to do. Nobody is trying to do science. All they want to do is me to sit on the floor and them to be able to sit on me, climb on me, get love from me. And so my thing for the day may change from science to loving on my babies. And then that's what I'm going to do. So I just feel like that's what my thing is that while I do have an educational background, my heart is really connected to it.
What is your education background?
So, you know, I have a degree in early childhood education.
Of course I do. They don't know. Mashallah. Listen, you forget. I've been there through this whole.
Yes, everyone knows.
I want to quit. It's too much.
Yes.
Working weird jobs. Like, you work here?
Yeah, I have a degree in early childhood education, and I got that degree way back, 2010. Then I started going back to school and I stopped. I had like personal things going on with my girlfriend and all that. And then I decided to go back to school. When I went back, I decided to get my degree in early child education with an emphasis on business, because I knew I wanted to open a daycare. And I felt like I was really strong in the classroom because I had been in the classroom. So I was really strong there, but I didn't know about the business of childcare. So when I went back to school, I wanted to make sure I learned about the business of childcare.
So you just graduated?
I just graduated in May.
Bachelor's?
From Chestnut Hill.
Yes, alhamdulillah.
And inshallah, I'll go back. I plan to go back. I should have gone back right away because I don't want to take another 5 years.
I mean, but you don't want to bring yourself.
I want to get rolling. I got to get Patterson prep going in full. I need full enrollment, a waiting list, you know. And
well, that's actually a good thing to actually own the business and know the business, because a lot of people own the business but know nothing about the business, and you know that CCIS check is nice. And that's what some people bank on, is just
but
the check.
CCIS knows.
Like my advice when I first started out, like my mentor, she told me, like she's been in the business for like 40 years. Like at this point, she's getting the kids that she watched kids.
Yes.
Remember years ago when CCIS that budget wasn't?
I was working in childcare.
I remember.
Yes. All those daycares was closing because they all was based on CCIS.
Yes.
That was the first thing she told me. This was before I ever even opened up in the house. Do not have all your income come from CCIS. You have to have some cash paying customers, because every year they debate on that budget.
Mm-hmm.
Every year, yes, every year we're not passing this.
July, you might not be able to pay no bills.
CCIS sending out letters. You might have to wait. So you do have to have some cash paying customers, because that's what's going to keep you, you know, afloat. And then don't get buildings where you know if something happened, the building is beyond your means as far as bills.
Mm-hmm.
Like if something happens, am I still able to afford the rent, the gas, the electric, and the water, and pay my staff? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
can you keep the doors open?
Yeah, can I keep these doors open? So I know when I look for buildings within my budget. Like if something is going to happen, will I still be able to stay afloat?
Mm-hmm.
So that's something.
What are your credentials as far as education?
I just graduated from Springfield University. I got a bachelor's in early childhood education. As far as my concentration, I'm in school now. I'm going back for my master's because I'm starting consultation. Remember when you was at the thing?
I remember you now, mashallah.
You should do consultation. I'm like, well, I don't just want to do consultation without credentials behind it. Anybody can go in something.
You have credentials. You have a successful business.
But what she's saying, it's not credential, it's validation.
Yeah, like
the degree is a validation of the knowledge that you had.
Like anybody could go in and tell you to put fire extinguisher on whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I forgot to leave my fire extinguishers up today.
So
I had it in my planner and everything.
So anybody could go in somebody's place and tell them that, but when you have that education behind it, I don't just want to serve one type of individual. Like I want to be available to everybody. And being Muslim, you know, being guarded up, you know, veiled up. When you go in them doors, sometimes you gotta play extra hard. You gotta have that stuff behind your name.
You gotta dot your I's and cross them T's.
Because here come another one.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm qualified.
I'm a different one.
Yeah,
because I know what I'm talking about.
This. Like I work hard for this. I've been in business since 2010. Third center. I got a degree. Like I know, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just not in here walking in telling you, okay, playpens gotta be 2 feet apart. Like I'm not, you know, for real. Like that's common knowledge. Mm-hmm. But I wanted for myself to have the degree behind my name.
Mashallah. And there's nothing wrong with it, you know, mashallah, as long as it doesn't, you know, go against your principles and morals and such like that. I think it's really good. I think for the next generation, you know, myself and
I'm getting degrees, okay?
Yeah, you know, and
last year we was doing it. Everybody graduated last year.
Yeah,
I'm a little bit older than y'all. But, you know, mashallah, my era, it was very few of us that were actually getting a degree. I got my degree back in 2003. It wasn't like every 6 months somebody was graduating. It was like every couple of years a Muslimah was graduating. Mm-hmm. So to see that fire that women have now, where they're not, you know, giving up their Islam, giving up their principles, morals, ethics, and such, and they are going out there and they're creating a niche. I think that's one of the things that we're doing.
That's it right there.
We are creating
being Muslim, being obedient to Allah, and being in business. That's it.
Yeah.
People tend to feel like if you want to be successful, and people will tell you, if you want to be successful, you better take that niqab off. You want to be successful, you better put on a whatever, contour, bodycon, whoever kind of dress, and some shoes. People will tell you, oh, ain't nobody going to bring their kid there and they can't. People will tell you that, and you have to know that what's for you, like a law decree, what's for you.
But
Nobody else can change that.
But Islam is growing so rapidly in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I say that all the time.
I can see if you were somewhere where there are maybe 1 or 2 Muslims in the community.
Even there, I'm not taking nothing off for nobody.
Even
I don't care.
if you live in that location and you are fully covered, it depends on where you are. Because you might get somebody to come in and be like, oh no, I'm not sending my child.
You might
But
get
you know
that
what
in
it
Philly.
is? Wait,
You might get in Philly.
You know what it is more than
But
anything?
that's not your person. If they come in and they see you and they're like, oh, this. People walk up to the door of my daycare now. When I'm in there, people walk up all the time, all day. I have to shut the door. Sometimes I try to open the door to get air. But I have to shut the door because they walk up and ask me a lot of questions. And people walk right up like, this is a Muslim daycare. I'm like, it's like, yes, daycare.
Yes,
It's daycare. Anybody is welcome to come, but it's Muslim owned. That's what I told
It's
people.
Muslim owned.
Because anybody is
That's what I
welcome
said.
to come, but it's
It's
Muslim
Muslim
owned. So you'll get that in Philly. You get that from your family. So you get that anywhere.
I
You
never
just gotta
had
get
that issue.
comfortable
Like,
and
I'm
But you know what I wanna
like,
say?
I never had that issue where someone walked in and they like, oh, I don't want to send my kid.
Mhm.
Like,
It's your program.
Yeah, like it's my program. You sit down, you talk to them, you fine with it, you explain to them what the program. Even when I explain to them, oh, my phone died. Even when I explain to them that we don't celebrate holidays, we don't do birth, like they're cool. You know what I'm saying? Like they're cool with that. What I do say though is, I remember being at a meeting and I was the only female there.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, when it's time to rock and roll, when it's time to do business, it's time to do business.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I'm gonna tell you what you know what it's called.
And they was like,
it's called the big C.
yeah, they was
And
like,
that
don't
C
you
is
see
confidence.
me? It is, and they was like, you, the brother had pulled me aside. He was like, you seem like the angry Muslim. No, I'm not saying like the angry Muslim, but I see that they're trying to get over. This is when I needed my money back for that girl.
Yeah, I'm that angry woman. I'm that angry Muslim woman. I want my money.
She's an angry black Muslim woman.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, they trying to like dummy me down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sitting here, I'm the only Muslim female. They trying to dummy me down. That's not going to happen.
That's a miss thing we out the window, huh?
Yeah.
So I have a question for both of you. So, what would your advice be to someone? Just like briefly, what would your advice be to someone who is looking to start their own child care business? Like, where should they start, or what steps should they take?
Start from family. Like I say, start from your
watching
house.
your family.
No, your house. It's 3 groups. It's Family Child Care Center, which you start in your home. The state allow you 6 kids.
Okay.
Well, in Delaware County, it's 4.
It's 4. But like in Philadelphia, I don't know, like Philadelphia is 6. And then, group is 12 and under.
Okay.
And then center, you got the capacity when they come in here, the ruler, they tell you how many you can have. But I suggest that everybody start from their home, especially if you don't have any startup money. Because in your house, you already paying your rent, you already know your bills, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I suggest. You can handle 6 kids by yourself. When you start going into group and center and you got to pay rent and you still paying bills over here and then you got 2 sets of gas, you got 2 sets of electric. Start from your house, build your clientele up, and it's okay with taking baby steps. There's nothing wrong with taking baby steps. You got 6 kids in your house at $130 a week. That's good money for somebody in a house.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That you in your home, and your kids don't count. Your kids, foster kids, grandkids don't count.
Oh.
Yeah, so
listen. So y'all hear that? I'm starting a child care.
so you
start with
got
my
6
kids.
kids at $130 a week. you good. Then you can build your clientele up, and let's not talk about the kids that are paying cash, because you can.
I got a question. Go ahead. I got a question about cash.
That's what I suggest. I suggest start from your home, build your clientele up, learn the business a little bit, because family is so much different from center.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
When you say family, you're saying a family child care center,
Yeah,
not my actual
right.
relationship.
I was called family. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I know, but you know the lingo.
That's the daycare lingo. We so used to saying family.
Oh, you family?
Yeah, I get it. I'm gonna do that, but everybody else.
Clientele. Why would you make it hard on yourself? You could be in a house, 6 kids. You figure what's that about $800 a week? Like,
did y'all hear that? I'm about to start a daycare. Who want to sign up?
At the store,
and you get the food program. You get the food program, and you don't. It's different ways. You don't have to cut into your costs. You get the food program. Now in family, you can get the food program where they'll cut you a check. Okay. You just write the menu, and depending on what kids you are, I remember like we would be getting like $1,500 a month for food. All kids eat that much food.
Oh my God!
So then build your clientele up, and then move to a center, and then move to a center. No, that was your choice. That's what you know what I'm saying. Then when you find a center, because family is so different from center. Get a center that you know that you're going to maintain kids. Don't go from your house from 6 kids. Oh, I'm going to get a center with 200 kids. You don't know nothing about this center. You know people center business. I know people that did it and they're not in business no more. You know what I'm saying? It's
because it's still a business at the end of the day.
It's still a business at the end of the day. It's okay to take your time and learn the business and just be in that, stay in family for 3 years. All right, I'm gonna move to center. I'm gonna get a center that's zoned for what? 20 kids, whatever. I can handle 20 kids. I only need like 2 other staff. Mm-hmm. That's not going to break my pockets because remember, I got to still pay myself and I still got to keep these lights on. Then from there, you can say, okay, I want to get another one and I'll move bigger because I didn't learn the business and I know what I got to do. I know the ins and outs and just, gradually progress. That's what I suggest if you don't. Because none of us really had like.
Is that how you started?
That's how I started. Yeah.
So for me, I think that my advice would be, because I didn't start in a home, but the road that I decided to travel was to get a degree in early childhood education. So I knew about. So I had already worked in childcare before, but I didn't have a degree. So I decided to get a degree so that I meet some of the qualifications that you need to be able to bring in money from the state and to be able to do those things. So I decided to get a degree first, and then I would say, that would be my first thing, is to learn about children, child development. Even if you don't want to go and get a degree, go and get a CDA. Because CDA is going to give you 3 courses. It's going to give you a general idea of what the business is like and what the regulations are. And so you get an idea of what you're getting into. Because it's not just putting kids in a building in front of a television.
Listen, you need to need stages of development. Because if you don't understand stages of development,
you're doing
a business of disservice.
In Vision Quest.
Okay.
So
that helps tremendously.
Yeah, so... But I seen that they really wasn't there to help the kids. So
yeah,
I was like,
that's doing children a disservice. It's doing a generation a disservice.
It's a generational thing.
It's bigger than just something really small. If you have children who go to 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 5th grade and still can't comprehend
or read,
or they only memorize, they never learned, they only memorized. And a lot of people sit kids and let them trace. Or they sing the alphabet. He knows his age. No, he doesn't. He learned the song.
God.
That's a totally different thing.
That is what I ask my adult students. I said, how many of you know your alphabet? Everybody raised their hand. I said, no, you don't. I raised my hand. I was like, I don't know my alphabet. They were like, how you don't know your alphabet? I said, I don't know my alphabet. If I ever got stuck for drunk driving, I got to say the alphabet backwards, just lock me up. Because I don't know. I don't know because, again, I was given, the song. Right. I can sing it back and forward. And there's certain places it's like, wait. Yeah, elemental P, And then I'm not even saying LMNOP. I'm saying elemental P, So, yes, and... actually, you have to know when children were born and the type of education they were given at that particular time, because I have three sets of children. So each one of them, their education is different. And I have my education, and then my siblings' education, and throughout the years, each one is totally different.
And that's why you gotta stay in classes, because if you don't keep learning, things are changing. We learn so much. If you don't stay in those trainings and those classes, then you'll fall behind. So it's not even just about getting a degree. Now it's about maintaining your education, because if you don't, you're going to be behind, and then those children are going to be behind. And even when
people complain about Keystone Stars do hold you up to those standards.
Yeah.
Because I remember,
you got to do a certain amount of training hours a year.
And like I remember when I first started, like I don't need Keystone Stars. I didn't want to tell me I know my daycare is good. But then once I started learning the business and how I wanted to run a center and what I wanted, because the last thing you want somebody to do is walk away from your child care center and say that their kid didn't learn something and go to kindergarten. Like, well, where did you come from? Oh, you know what I mean? You won't put that on my name. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know. Put that on my name. But now, early childhood education, I don't think that people take it as seriously as it should be, because it's the foundation before you start kindergarten.
It's the foundation of learning.
Yes. So, like now they don't have cursive in school. They don't have phonics in school.
Oh, they stopped that.
When we was in school, they had
30 years, 25 years ago, they stopped that.
Well, I went to Catholic school, so I know
public school. Well, I had to teach my son how to write cursive, because
but now they don't do that. You check a box for your signature, everything. But I still think that they should learn how to sign their name. They cut all that out. So I think like with early childhood education, like we the meat to the potatoes. You know what I'm saying? Like without one, they're not gonna have a good structured learning environment from the start.
I got another question for y'all. This is a little controversial now that we're talking about early childhood and such. How do y'all feel about it? Because both of y'all are Philadelphian residents. Yes? How do you feel about the sugar tax?
Oh, let me tell you. Oh,
Don't make me laugh.
I got notes on the sugar tax.
How you knew I was gonna ask you that?
Because listen, the sugar tax is major. Okay. The sugar tax
not
is
to make me
major.
laugh. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. The sugar tax. She was laughing at me. She said, "You got notes?" Yeah. Listen.
Halima came here with notes too.
That's what she said. I had notes. I said, "Girlfriend, why you didn't tell me right notes?"
The sugar tax basically is for universal pre-K, which is different from pre-K counts. They're two different. Pre-K counts is through the school district of Philadelphia. Universal pre-K is the sugar tax, where every 3 and 4 year old, it's like kindergarten. They have that right to be in universal preschool. Now you can have a sugar tax. You can have a universal preschool program inside of your daycare. Like it doesn't absolutely have to be inside like of an elementary school. So 3 cents per ounce of sugar, any sugar drinks, they're going to be taxed on. So they're supposed to be using $400 million. They're supposed to generate $400 million.
Suppose.
Yeah. But I think it is because that stuff, you got $1 soda, they $2.50 now. Like that sugar tax ain't no joke. You got
No, she's saying
but how is it benefited your
actually use it?
How has it benefited your program?
But I don't have universal preschool. Like you have to be a star 3 or 4. Keystone Stars.
So they require you to have the education first.
Yeah, you gotta have the accreditation. You gotta be a star 3 or 4 center. I'm only a star 2. I'm working on my 3rd now. You can't even qualify for the universal preschool until you are star 3.
Okay.
Now, all right.
We gotta speed it up a little bit.
Okay. And then the pre-K counts is the Board of Education. But now they also have something like, I wish I would have known, well I did know, but I just didn't know how to go about it. The expansion grant. So,
which one of y'all?
Oh yeah, one of my coworkers was telling me
that. Me, like, what's up? Like I need the money. Like if you're ready to, but everything, sometimes in child care and early childhood education, everybody is hush-hush. Like they won't really give you the information because they look at you as competition. You might be out there in West Philly. I'm up Germantown. Like it's the kids.
Yeah, my coworker told me she has group. I believe that's the smallest one.
No,
family's the smallest. So she has a family in South Philly, and someone reached out to her for the expansion. So she is now currently looking
For
for.
the expansion grant.
So let me
No,
ask-
they already told her that she could get
Did
it,
it?
but she got to find a location. So she's actually looking for a location.
So my question to you, because you all are on the forefront, especially you, Shukiya, because you're, new into it and you're business minded. You have the degree with business and such. Are you all thinking about starting a daycare provider association or something to that effect?
It's already.
No.
out.
I'm not.
Oh, for the Muslims.
Yeah.
I would
Because
love to do something like that.
I mean, even if you don't even,
require
you can do
cooperation.
something. But you know what? One thing that somebody told me, because I do the Sisterhood Saturday, and she said, if it's only me and you, alhamdulillah. And every time that we meet up, it might be 2, it might be 20. But the consistency is key, and you just find that person that has the same drive and wherewithal as you. So start with those that know, and then you'd be surprised just sharing between 2 or 3 people.
That is definitely something that I would like to implement. I would like to do it once the center is open, so that
But
could
you
be
might
my
want to
meeting
do it.
space. But we could meet.
Listen, we just came from Panera, but we just came from a place that has a free meeting space, Wi-Fi, and everything.
Yeah,
Just come together.
WeWork has that too, right?
Yeah, that
No,
costs
you have
money.
to have a
That costs money.
membership.
This is free. We're not gonna promote, but this is free. So what I'm
Yeah, that
saying
would be
is
nice
just
to do.
maybe even before you start, because you may connect with her and find out that she got some other information that's only in y'all conversing that it's like I didn't know that, and now you can share
I will say
information.
from my experience that you can't expect that from people. It would be nice, but people don't want to give you information
No, they
for
do
free.
have them out because I've been to them. Khadijah, I don't know if y'all know Khadijah. She had the family center on Oil Road. And she,
Sister Khadijah. I got married at the family
Okay.
center.
But do you see
I'm
what
hungry.
this is what I want you to take away.
Khadijah has them. This is where I first learned it from the sugar taker. Like if you call her, because I call her for everything. Like she's so knowledgeable in daycare. Like I had her up.
So she's in DeVacy.
Yeah, so she's in DeVacy and she goes to Harrisburg and she
I went to
protested for our
Harrisburg with
rights.
her one day.
How
Okay,
she-
so we actually are almost there, but my I know I would not be where I'm at in business. Mashallah, we're talking over 15 years in business, and the growth and development I have has come primarily because I have conversations.
Yeah.
I have conversations with other people, and you're right. You're gonna have 1,001 people that are not about sharing anything. They will
But
not.
there'll be that one.
But there will be. I started Atiya's Designs because I ran into a sister from the masjid that took me walking around. She showed me stuff. She had no reason to do it. So just don't look at the 1,000 that don't.
Oh no!
Concentrate on
The other night I was back and forth in DM with a sister I don't know from anywhere, and she put up something for her science center, and I was like, "Where'd you get that from?" We were DMing back and forth late at night, 11 to like 1 in the morning, back and forth. I don't know her from anywhere, so there's always that person that you don't know that's so willing to just give information, help, give a hug. Sometimes I need a hug. It's hard out here.
Khadijah, like she'll have.
Okay, quick question. Quick question. Oh,
I want Tasha. Give me your
Where's
location.
5318 Germantown Avenue, 5102 Germantown Avenue. I do COM consultation for early childhood education. You can call me 215-852-0438.
And your daycare center is, you said everything but your daycare
5102
center.
Germantown
No, the
Avenue.
name.
Oh, count on me 123 Learning Center and COM Academy.
I'm Shukiya. My daycare is Patterson Preparatory Child Development Center. It's 5801 Master Street in West Philly.
Right
It's
corner from you.
right across the street from Blueford
do
Elementary.
you have an expected?
Inshallah, I'll be open in September. Inshallah, that's the
Date to be determined.
date
Yes,
to be
I'm
determined. So you can follow my page though, Patterson Preparatory on Instagram.
Okay, and right here we have Naquana that just stepped in, one of our Covered in Business members. And I am so proud of her. She's
stepping
doing
out.
it. Everything I asked her to do, everything that she did on her vision board, alhamdulillah, she is accomplishing everything. So we need y'all to come to her event that is in October.
October 14th It's going to be from 12 to 4. Inshallah, it'll be the business warming. Since I've been closed for about a year now, I'm reopening my bakery.
Oh, I mean, the cupcakes at the brunch, right?
Yes, my cupcakes are at the brunch.
What is the name of your business?
The name of my business is Sweet Tooth Delectables.
And the theme of your
the theme of the tea party. The business warming is going to be a fancy hat tea party.
Oh, you want me to bring Ayisha?
And it's at oh,
I can bring it
it's at my location. Yes. It's at my location.
Meet at the party. Eat the cake, drink the tea.
Alhamdulillah. Shukran, everybody.
So we're out. I'm hot. But make sure you all are at Mill Creek Playground August 26th for our nonprofit organization fundraiser and fun day.
And we're still looking for vendors and sponsors for the fun day August 26th. If you're interested, you can contact me, Atiya Angela Havens, on Facebook. Amatula's Treasures on Instagram. And if you have my number, which is published, you can text me, inshallah.
Yes.
Shukran, we appreciate y'all. And until next week.
Yes. Also, Covered in Business, we will have a business series, 6-week business series starting in September for $89 for anyone that's looking to start up their business. And we will be having our monthly brunches again starting the end of this month, inshallah. So check us out, coveredinbusiness.net. And we see y'all next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.